Agency owners, here's how we went from a 40% churn to a 95% retention rate in 30 days. And this is all from fixing our service delivery system. I'm going to show you the exact processes, templates, scripts, so that you can plug and play this into your business. So 6 months ago, my agency was struggling with retention. And so one thing that completely changed the game was refining my service delivery. And the two most important things that I found with service delivery, I'm going to dive into in here. Now, obviously, I'm going to show you the whole process. We had over 25 active clients, but we had a 40% churn rate, meaning that we were losing almost half of those people every single time. The problem was delivery chaos. Now, there was missed deadlines, unclear communication. I'm going to show you the service delivery that allowed our clients to consistently get ROI. Communication, everything else is a separate video. So first off, when we're doing lead generation, and just to be clear, this is for a lead generation agency, what is the process that we must follow? Well, the first thing being, we need to generate leads. This is the first part. Now, after lead gen, what do you have? Well, then you've got your appointment booking. Once you have booked an appointment, okay, then after this, you've got the lead nurture process, okay? So this is the act of making sure that the lead shows. And then finally, you've got sales / profit / ROI. That is obviously arguably probably one of the most important, but we need to break this down into a granular level. And why do we need to do this? Well, we need to understand how each stage works. If we know how to optimize each stage, then we know we can consistently get results, whether we've got a client that's just signed on recently or a client that we've had for the last 6 months. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the exact systems that work for my agency. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to work for yours, but what I have found is across the board, any agency that I've noticed doing this has consistently been getting their clients good results. So as you can see here, we've got lead generation first. Now, one of the most important things with lead gen, okay, when we're generating leads, we need to have a low cost per lead. Now, how do we get a low cost per lead? Well, one of the best ways that you can attract customers is by advertising stuff for free. And I know what you're thinking. What the hell are you thinking, Sam? What are you doing? Well, funny story. So I was watching $100 million money models from Alex Hormozi, and he tested this out between running an advertising campaign that was free and an advertising campaign that was presenting an offer that wasn't free. What he found was he got double the leads, but the same close rate, meaning that you get more people at the same close rate every single time. Now, obviously there's a caveat to this. So what we did is we ran a free offer, but there was some form of lead magnet to it. So for example, what we would do here would run something on the lines of a free 6-week challenge. And then from there, what they would do is they pay an accountability payment of £300 or $300. They pay that down, then they had the opportunity to win that back if they lost X amount of weight within those 6 weeks. Now, obviously, it was the perfect lead magnet because people love results. I'm not saying I claimed this. This was Alex Hormozi did this, but have a think about your offers that you run on behalf of the clients. Offer trumps everything in this situation. And if you do not have a good offer when you are generating leads and running ads for your clients, you will never get a low cost per lead. Now, a little hack here is obviously run stuff that is free. Another thing that you can do if you don't do free, discount. What is the other thing that you can do with this? Well, at least 50% off. If you are not doing 50% discount or more, they just don't feel like it's worth it, customers. And so you can either go free or discount. This is one of the easiest ways to have a lower cost per lead, first off. Now, the second thing that you can do from here is on your advertising campaigns, one thing that I found works and converts really, really well is graphics designs. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you one of our graphic design that's been converting like crazy in our gym, in the gym industry at the moment. Very simply, this. All this is using a power word first off. So you're going to use the word attention, calling, or wanted. Then all you're going to do from here is have the area. So the area here is Wellington and Taunton, but it could be Cambridge, it could be New York, Brooklyn, whatever. And then you're going to call out the gender. This only works specifically for gyms, but you can tailor this however you need to. And think about this, how you tailor this to your clients. And then finally, calling out the age demographic and what the offer is. That's it. Because we are calling out really specific people in a certain age demographic, they relate to it more, meaning that it grabs their attention. Now, coming back to this here, this is about how we generate the leads. Well, after we've generated the leads, obviously we need the appointment booking. And the single most important thing, speed to lead. If you're not calling your leads within 5 minutes of them opting in, then there's literally no point, because you're going to make a 391% return on calling leads this fast. Now, people think I made up this number. Check out the video from Alex Hormozi where he talked about sales. The proof's in the pudding. If you don't believe Alex Hormozi's got about 15 million followers across all platforms, then I'm sorry, but you're delusional. So the thing here is obviously speed to lead is imperative. Calling them up, making sure that you're bringing out enough pain, asking them qualifying questions to make sure that they're the right fit. If they are the right fit, then this is where we're going to go into lead nurturing. Now, for lead nurturing, this is a really specific process, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to dive into my agency's lead nurture process on behalf of our clients. Okay, and one of the most important things, personalization. One of the most important things is personalizing your lead nurture process once you book the appointment to get them to show for the appointment in the first place. Now, how do we do this? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to dive in and show you one of the automations that we use within our agency, so you can copy all of this stuff and put it in to your own agency's service delivery. So when we run ads, once we've run the ad and we get them booked in for an appointment, bear in mind we're calling them within 5 minutes, get them booked in for an appointment. From here, all that's going to happen, the first text that happens, now these are text messages to the reminders to the client and email. The first text is going to be this. And what this is it is a whole SMS sequence, which is very clear that number one is an auto reminder. Second off, just confirming their appointment is there with the start time and the date. Making it very clear what they need to do with a clear action point. Also here, we either put the Instagram or Facebook page, whichever one has more followers and looks better, because we want to up the perceived value of that business so that when people are wanting to show up, they have an incentive and have a reason as to why they want to show up. Google Maps link, where it is, so the landmark location, we're near the McDonald's on XYZ roundabout, and then the address, and then the team, and then the attachments down the bottom here to be able to add it into their Google Calendar or their Outlook calendar. Simple as that. That is the first text message. And then 72 hours before, if it is 72 hours before, usually we go for next day or the day after appointments. But if we have to push it, then this text gets sent over that makes it look like it's the owner of the business who's texting them. Hey Sam, it's XYZ name from XYZ gym here. I saw you booked in a time with us to discuss your fitness goals and see if we can help, which is awesome. Now, this is a really, really good one, but obviously it usually skips this part if the appointment is before 72 hours. Now, this is where the real bread and butter comes. Now, 72 or 24 hours before the appointment, this is where the gym owner actually has a selfie of themselves out the front of the gym smiling. And then we also add this information in here as well. This is a really, really good one. Why is this a good one? Well, because it makes it look like the gym owner sent a personalized text message to them saying how excited they are to be meeting them. Then from here, we do an appointment confirmation call. So our CSA, our inbound appointment setter, will call them up and confirm that that person is still good for the appointment. If we do not hear from them 2 hours before the appointment, we cancel the appointment because we're not wasting the gym owner's time like that. 4 hours before, this is where we start to add in the freebie or the incentive to want them to show up. And then finally here, just making it very clear that we have put the freebie aside. If you noticed here, we spelled freebie wrong on purpose because we send a follow-up text with asterisks saying freebie to make it look like the gym owner has sent it and it's an auto-corrected message. So that is the whole of lead nurturing. The other thing that I would say is the other most important thing here as well is going to be the appointment confirmation call. That is imperative. Then finally, sales. Now, this is a tricky one because one of the hardest things here is going to be teaching your clients to get better at sales, because at the end of the day, it's them. It's their probability that they're going to close them. Now, one thing you can do is teach them about this, objection handling. And the main ones are going to be money. I need to think about it. I need to go speak to my partner. If you get them really good at handling those 3 objections, 9 times out of 10, they're going to close more deals. And this is across most industries, in all honesty. So how do we overcome, for example, I need to think about it? Literally just say to them, I totally understand. So we're going to affirm first off, just so I can be really clear about what you need to go and think about and provide you with the best possible information. What is it that you are thinking about right now? And then they will open up to the real objection. That will lead you to one of two directions. It will lead you to one, either the money side, or two, either the partner objection. Now, how do we deal with the money and how do we deal with the partner objection? Well, the money objection, all we're going to do first is affirm. So we're going to agree with them first off. I totally understand and I appreciate it is a lot of money. However, what we have found is that most of the people who think that $300 is a lot of money, most of the people who think that those $300 is a lot of money are right, because I'm going to be honest with you, it is a lot of money. However, those people that spend the $300, that 300 means way more to, are actually working harder and getting even better results than what the guys who don't value the 300 are at the moment. And so what we found is that all of these people that are spending $300 that means way more to them are getting insane results. And what you do there is you just keep reframing it like that. This person, XYZ person done this, proof, over and over and over. Now, how do we deal with the partner objection? Well, the partner objection is slightly different. This is where we affirm with them again. And then what we'll say is something along the lines of, how long have you been thinking about this for? Well, ideally you would get that information, by the way, beforehand. Let's say they've been thinking about this for over a year. Have you spoken with your partner about this over a year ago, for sure? And they'd be like, yeah, of course. And does your partner support you? Of course. Then why would they be annoyed at the fact, or why do you need to go and speak to them about something that at the end of the day you've already made your mind up on and they've already made their mind up on? Simple as that, okay? There are loads of different ways to handle these objections, by the way, but the more you know, the better, but obviously find which ones work best within your industry. That is how you build a superior service delivery within the agency space. Low cost per lead. First off, how do you do that? You go free or discounted and you use graphics designs. The second thing you do, speed to lead, call leads within 5 minutes. The third thing you're going to do, personalization once you've booked the appointment and an appointment confirmation call 24 hours before. And then finally, for the sales, the profit and the ROI, very simply, get your clients good at objection handling. Do this, you're going to make 10x the money that you're currently making.